Like Disney said, you know, we shuffle the board frequently, but we tend to like to put people on the board that actually know something about the media business. I mean, it seemed like a pointed comment to make, but Nelson Peltz knows about other consumer goods companies, if you want to call Disney that. Could he help?
Well, Disney's got a boatload of problems, so the idea that it's on the right course right now is obviously easily challenged. Nelson Peltz has a hell of a track record. You're right, not in the media space. I think he and Iger agree in certain respects. It was a failed succession plan. Disney needs to cut costs, and Disney lost its way. That's why the board asked Iger to come back. So there really isn't a lot of disagreement there. Probably is disagreement on the extent of the cost cuts that Nelson Peltz would look for. Probably also disagreement on the issue of whether the Fox deal was a bad deal. It certainly was, but it was Iger's deal, so I'm sure there's contention there. I think the issue here is that Disney has kind of been kicking the can down the road on its biggest issues. What to do about Hulu, what to do about ESPN, what to do about allocation of capital between streaming and the core business. Should it just slim down to be a family-oriented company and drive its flywheel? And bringing Iger back, while an important move, isn't necessarily in and of itself the kind of catalyst for change when you have Iger himself saying its core business is on the precipice and who knows when it's going to be pushed off. That sounds like a crisis, but Disney hasn't been acting as if it's a company in crisis. Now, the thing I'm surprised at here a little bit is the timing. I'm sure Bob Iger will have a lot to say in February at earnings about strategy, direction, and what they're going to do. This move by Nelson Peltz comes before even hearing that. And I think that maybe hearing that would have been a better launch point for this kind of critique. But there's plenty to say about what Disney needs to do.
Things must have been pretty bad to bring in a guy whose primary role is going to be to plan for his succession. I mean, that's like, why not plan for the succession? I don't know. It's kind of doesn't make sense. Here's the other thing I'm thinking. In the old days, compensation didn't matter as much when you're just killing it with Pixar. What you pay for Pixar doesn't matter that much when you're killing it afterwards, but that's not where we are anymore. And now maybe you shouldn't spend, there should be more pay for performance, more based on performance. Maybe you shouldn't overpay no matter how attractive the assets are. It's a different world. Is Iger the right guy at this point to turn things around? Or is it a cost-cutting world? A make streaming profitable world, if that is even possible?
Well, you make a good point, Joe. I'm sure Nelson Peltz is looking over at Warner Brothers Discovery and what David Zaslav's doing there on cost cutting, which is really much more of a private equity slash everything you can type of approach to cost. And he may well be saying to himself, hey, if Warner Brothers could do this, I might not know the media business, but there seems to be a model there for cost cutting, and maybe Disney should be going down that path. I'm sure Bob Iger is saying to himself now what I thought when he first made this announcement. Why would a guy with the exit that he had as one of the greatest CEOs of all time, especially in the media world, want to come back with so many issues and so many problems? Now that all those problems and all his moves related to it are going to get the kind of public scrutiny, criticism, and challenge that a proxy fight involves, he may be asking himself that same question I was asking when he made this move, that I really need to come back.
What do you think going on behind the scenes with Hulu? Is that, I mean, who has the leverage? Is the valuation going up just because of this structure that, the way that it's shared now? Is it going to be worth a lot more? Can one party hold the other one hostage to get what finally happens there?
Well, this is a major strategic decision, and it's one that everybody's been waiting for resolution, and it's unclear if it'll come before 2024 when the agreement calls for one way or the other for this to be resolved.